I am a massive Ben 10 nerd. And there's this one scene that's always been stuck in my head.
It's multiple choice. Just choose C for every answer and you'll pass. That won't work.
And so this made me think, can you really guess C for every answer in a quiz? So first thing that pops into your head is why C? Why not any answer? Like why can't I just go A first, B second, C third, D fourth? Why would that change anything? And the thing is, because human beings are not random. A computer can produce a test with answers that are random, right? But human beings do not make random decisions. We aren't random. No matter what that person's Instagram profile says, Sana is not random. She is basic. We cannot produce a completely random spread. So when you try to go 1A, 2B, 3C, 4D, you are trying to compete with randomness against the computer. And computers are really good at reproducing randomness. So because of that, your answers are not going to be 25%, they're going to be less because you're introducing other probability factors here. So therefore, if you always do C, you always have a 25% chance of getting it right. Okay, but what if the test is not random? What if Miss Sabha from class 8 made that test? Then this thing comes in called extreme aversion bias. Human beings do not like to take extreme choices. We always like to take the safe middle of the road answer. So for example, if I ask you how many varieties of dates there are and I give you 4 options, A, there are 5 varieties of dates, B, there are 25, C, there are 70, D, there are more than 200, you're most likely to take between B and C because it feels like a safer option, feels like a middle of the road option. But the answer is actually D. And most people don't guess that because, like I said, we do not like extreme sides. This is the exact same tactic businesses use to get people to spend more money. You can have a small option and a large option, but when you have a middle option, most people always like to go a bit above the smaller one, but a bit cheaper than the bigger one and stick to the middle answer. And this works with the same as quiz. Human beings like to take B and C for answers. And same way that you are a human being and like B and C, the person making the exam is a human being, despite what it might feel like. And they're also going to have more answers and B and C. So in a non-randomized test, you actually have a higher chance of getting an answer correct if you select C for every answer. Okay, this is fine. But if you know me, you know कि मुझे चुल है. I could not just be like, okay, this makes sense, move on. I was like, let's verify. Let's see how I can prove this. So I did the very sensible thing and look up the largest standardized worldwide test I know of, the CAIE or CIE exam, which led me to look at the MCQ papers of physics, chemistry, bio, not for 1 year, not for 2 years, not for 4 years, but 6 years worth of past papers, excluding 2020 because no 2020, and not one variant, both variants, and not one session, but both sessions. So a total of 72 past papers. यही तैयारी मैं अगर कर लेता तो मेरा A से A star हो जाता. And I found some very interesting results. So out of a complete 2,880 answers, 690 of them were A, 776 of them were B, 764 were C, and 700 of them were D. So that means the highest was B at 26.94% of answers. Second highest was C at 26.53%. Third was D at 24.31%. And the last was A at only 22.22%. Meaning that the most likely answers were B and C, and the least likely answers were D and A. And while the highest answer in physics, bio, and chemistry was B, B, and C, the lowest answer in all three categories was A. But aside from these answers, I also found some interesting facts. When we map out how many times did any letter occur more than a certain number of times, so how many times did any letter appear more than 6 times or more than 8 times or more than 12 times, we get this spread. First of all, not most answers are going to be close to 10. Like you're not going to have an answer sheet where you have 10 A's, 10 B's, 10 C's, and 10 D's. But what it does tell is most sheets are going to have answers closer to 10. So 11 A's, 9 B's, 12 C's, and 8 D's. That is going to be a normal spread. Also, another very interesting thing I found, there were only 2 times where any letter appeared as low as 6 times, meaning there was only a 0.69% chance that a letter would only appear 6 times. And then when we multiply all 4 possible options, it means that in every 1 in 36 papers, there's going to be a chance that you have an answer as low as 6. And when we go a number higher at 7, there was a 8.33% chance that any letter would be as low as 7, which means in every 1 in 6 papers, you're going to have an answer as low as 7, and anything above that, there's a higher chance it's gonna happen. And similarly, when we go to the higher end, there was only 2 times when an answer appeared as high as 15 or 14 times, and an answer appearing as high as 13 times happened 18 times, meaning every 1 in 4 papers will have an answer appear as high as 13 times. But interestingly, in 72 papers, there never once happened that any answer appeared less than 6 times or higher than 15. Okay, but that is a lot of data. How does it help? So that means if you're giving a CI exam in O levels, in physics, chemistry, and bio, so if you have B, let's say, appear 15 times, you're not going to get another B. You can rule out B from any of the answers now. And if you have A appear only 5 times, which means there's probably 100% chance you have at least one more A. Similarly, if you have B, let's say 13 times, unless you're 100% sure that the another answer is not B, you can rule out B as well, because the likelihood that B is going to appear 14 times is very less. Also, fun thing I learned, you can definitely get 3 answers in a row, so 3 C's or 3 B's. And sometimes, very, very rarely, you can even get 4 answers in a row, which is a very effed up thing to do to a student. Just CI gaslighting you and making you feel like you don't know what you're doing. Like, 4 C's कैसे आ सकते एक साथ? But very rarely can happen. But never are you going to get 5 answers in a row. Just never has happened in the 72 papers that I saw. Okay. But coming back to our original answer, can you use C to complete an entire paper? And the answer is technically. Like, B might slightly be more likelier to be the right answer, but it does mean that A and D are least likely to be the highest occurring letter. But again, improbable, not impossible. But another thing to consider is examiners know last year's marking scheme. They know what answers already came before, what pattern was there. And I can't definitively tell you if these are properly randomized or actual people making every answer, because I learned A-level maths enough to understand how statistics work and to enjoy it, but not enough to remember how p-values work and to give conclusive statistical proofs. But that does mean that if you give every answer B or C, you are not probably going to pass, because the grade thresholds are almost at 13 to 14 and sometimes as low as 12. But probably better ke just pad lo, better option than just watching some guy trying to tell you how to hack CIs. That might not necessarily work, and I cannot take any responsibility. So just pad lo, but this can help you maybe pass, or like maybe get a 1 or 2 answers better. I hope that helped. So if this satisfied your nerve brain, then give a like, share, subscribe, stuff like that. जब तक के लिए मैं चलता हूँ. Thank you and Allah. Now we need